Let's take a closer look now at the situation in Afghanistan, also in Iraq and Somalia, described as the three main theatres in the war on terror. It's a topic the Senless Council, a security and development policy group, has been studying in depth. They've just released a report with some pretty interesting findings, and I'm joined now by the Council's President, Norine MacDonald, to talk about that. Great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Young men, angry young men with nothing to do. This is the one sort of common aspect of these three conflict zones you found.
It's correct. We've been studying the conflicts in Afghanistan, Somalia, and Iraq over the last period of time, and I've had an opportunity to interview young men in each of those countries. And what we found is a very high degree of anger. In Iraq, for example, 62% of them said they were often or always angry. Now, in classic counterinsurgency theory, you intend to win over the local hearts and minds to quell an insurgency. And what our interviews have found is a very high degree of anger, angry hearts and angry minds. And that's a global security issue.
Who are they angry at?
Well, they're angry about their unemployment and what we would call a lack of enfranchisement. 45% of them stated they don't believe democracy is going to provide them with a positive future. There's a youth bulge. There are a disproportionately high percentage of the population, 40 to 70% unemployment. So we see a situation where there are very easy recruits for extremist violence and criminal cartels, and those are the two main security factors in those areas, both the extremist violence and the criminal cartels, narco-terrorism.
Now, you describe Somalia as a chronic conflict. No one would have much argument with you on that. You say Afghanistan and Iraq, both of them are deepening conflicts. Many people have a sense that Iraq's getting better. Why do you say it's a deepening conflict?
Well, just now when we were doing our research in Iraq, what we found is the current stability, with General Petraeus himself is described as fragile and reversible, is based on this idea of sectarian militias and a sectarian political development. And we don't believe that that is going to give us a stable democracy in Iraq, which is what our objectives are. And this sectarian-based initiatives are also going to create a situation we see of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. So what we found, the sort of connecting theme between these three conflicts, is a real need to step back and re-engineer our global security architecture. And we have to not only keep the classic security instruments of military and intelligence endeavors, but we have to add in jobs, appropriate counter-narcotics policy, and selling democracy as security instruments. So we have to really step back and re-engineer the global security architecture to get on top of these conflicts.
The big debate in the presidential race is stay in Iraq or go. What's your call?
Well, with the greatest respect to Senator McCain and Senator Obama, when you're on the ground in Iraq or in those other conflicts, you see this type of two-door debate is really not very helpful in getting us where we want to go. So we've recommended door number 3, which is this re-engineering of the architecture, bringing in employment, selling democracy, development, appropriate counter-narcotics responses as part of security instruments. And we think that that's actually going to get us, both in the short, medium term, and long term, to where we want to go with those three conflicts, which is a stable democracy and prosperity for the local people. Very briefly,
is the West, is the world losing Afghanistan?
We've certainly seen a dramatic deterioration in the last month. The Taliban have pulled off some really dramatic operations. We've underestimated their troop levels, their capacity, their planning. They pulled off the world's largest known prison break in Kandahar, liberating 400 of their Taliban colleagues, 1,000 prisoners in total, right under the nose of U.S. and NATO military. They're in Arghandab. We have reports of them being in Wardak province, very close to Kabul. So obviously there's some serious issues to be addressed in Afghanistan.
Sure enough. Norine MacDonald from Senless Council, thanks very much for coming in and joining us.
Thank you.
Well, now a heat wave is washing through parts of Europe.